Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlo Bertani. I work for Maersk and I oversee the decarbonization portfolio throughout North and South America. So my portfolio touches everything from a little bit over ocean to all of our port terminals, as well as the equipment associated at the port terminals, all of our inland footprint, which includes a number of warehouses and inland transportation. So I just want to say thank you to UC Davis for hosting this event. And the reason why I'm here specifically today is we have been doing battery swapping within some of our port terminals in China for the last 3 years, and I've been directly involved with that team as they've been going along this voyage. So I'm going to tell you some of the good things, some of the complications, and a little bit about what I think the future might hold within this space. All right, so who is Maersk? As noted prior, we're a very large global integrator of logistics. So we play over ocean, at port terminals, and then across the inland logistics footprint across the globe. As you can see on the right, I won't bore you with the details. Those are just kind of some of our high-level stats on the size of the organization. The thing that I really want folks to take away is that we've been verified by the Science Based Target Initiatives. We're a signatory of RE100. We're CDP A+, and EcoVadis Platinum. And we're really all moving as a giant team and organization together to try and reach our goals of net zero by 2040, which requires a lot of work and collaboration across all these different business units that we have in order to make this a reality. So what took us to the journey of playing in A, the battery electric space, and then B, in the battery swapping space? So we as a company have very ambitious sustainability goals. It's pretty much a mandated requirement across the organization that whenever we are replacing an asset that's petroleum based, we move forward with a zero emission alternative vehicle, which for us, that main solution has been around battery electric vehicles. So that's what I'm going to focus on specifically. As we all know, there are lots of different space constraints whenever it comes to battery electric vehicles, especially whenever you have fixed asset infrastructure like charging infrastructure, you have conduit that's laid down, you have all sorts of operational interruptions, and not just that, but you have much longer dwell times while the vehicle's physically tethered to the charging apparatus itself. So when it comes to battery swapping, the name of the game is all about time and efficiency. So like I said, we've been doing this for about 3 years in China now. We're now doing second generations of both the assets that house the battery storage components, as well as the second generation of battery electric vehicles, terminal tractors, for example, that we're utilizing. On the bottom left of the screen there, you can see there's a lot of different players in the Chinese market that are pushing hard into this space, as well as the Chinese government is really, really pushing this market to swappable battery electric technology for a number of different reasons. And I think one of the advantages that the Chinese have over most of the other markets is the ability to really influence uniformity whenever it comes to compatibility of batteries. This isn't just as simple as like going to a different gas station to fill up your car. It's not like 91 octane is 91 octane, right? We're dealing with different ways that the batteries are tethered to the vehicles, different locking mechanisms, different frame rail spacings, all these things, right? And then I'll get into some of the safety concerns as well that I'm sure are on a lot of the regulators' minds, and I'll just continue to discuss here. All right, so what you're looking at in front of you are the 4 different main options for charging that we as Maersk have explored over the past 3 years. On the far left, letter A, you have your standard charger that we all know about, so I'm not going to go into that. Letter B is where we started 3 years ago, which was a swappable battery behind the cabin, which in essence the vehicle would move into the battery swapping area. A hoist or a crane in essence would come and pick the battery, it would slide along a rail, and then another battery would come and get dropped. We didn't ever experience really any issues with that, but there was some concern and driver feedback that we received around like safety concerns due to vibrations. They didn't like the batteries being mated up next to the cab, those sorts of things. So we moved on from that solution quickly. Letter C there was the next step down the journey, which was a swappable battery, kind of similar to behind the cabin, but lower center of gravity, latched around the actual frame rails themselves. So we had quite a bit less vibration. There was less concern from a health and safety perspective. However, we ran into some compatibility issues. There was some potential worry with, if the driver improperly aligned where they need to hook up a container, there could be damage to the battery, which could cause all sorts of issues. And so we end up moving away from that. Letter D is where we're at and where we've been the last year, which is a truly under the chassis battery swap. Still not available at scale. However, we're currently doing this with about 180 vehicles across the 3 different port terminals that we're doing this at in China. And have had really, really good success with it. Drivers are happy, health and safety folks are happy. And I think once more OEMs and the compatibility issue is slowly getting solved, I think a lot of that is just going to naturally happen due to consolidation of companies. But we foresee a future where different OEMs will allow these battery swap techs by building to a specific standardized spec. At least that's our hope. So the existing process and how it works, the company that we work with gave me the slide, so kudos to them for sharing. But as you can see, starting on the far left and then working your way down through the arrows, the truck pulls in, the vault itself opens. On the far right there, the lift comes up and in essence takes the battery out. New battery comes up, and then the truck just continues to move on. So we've had good luck with that. It's a fully automated experience. So the truck will pull into the vault, the truck driver physically gets out of the cab, goes and waits for that 3 to 4 minute mark, and then we'll come back in the cab, drive the truck out. So no human interaction whatsoever, which we personally liked due to fire concerns, especially with lithium. So we like the automated route where there's complete separation between man and machine, and any fire concerns. Like I said, it's a completely automated system, so it can be self-contained and isolated if and when an incident occurs. All right, so what does the future look like? This is a slide we got from one of our partners, Sani, who does a lot in the electrification space with heavy duty. This was the latest solution they're showing right now, which, as you can see on the right side of the screen, is almost like a spoke model, where they are utilizing 10 batteries that they're then spinning around this, in essence, wheel, charging them at different points, utilizing DC fast charging, which takes about 45 minutes, give or take. They're claiming they can do this in 1.9 minutes, which is just fascinating to me if they can make that work. Like I mentioned before, our times currently are about 3 to 4 minutes, which is still staggering in comparison to, being tethered and literally plugging into the grid. They also claim that they can utilize, 100 vehicles with 10 batteries. Our current ratio that we're doing at these 3 port terminal operations is about 7 batteries to 50 assets. So as you can see, the tech is moving really quick, and this is another interesting solution that I think could provide quite a bit of value in the future as people are looking for time-saving different technologies in the battery swapping space. And what you're looking at here is current market comparison from a bunch of different suppliers that we work with in the China market. I won't go through all the details here. I'll be sharing these slides afterwards so you can kind of nerd out individually as you want, and feel free to reach out to me with questions as they may arise. But yeah, I think overall we've had a really good experience with battery swapping. The complications, I think, versus the US, compatibility, and the fact that charging companies, battery companies, they want something unique. They want a patent. They want some proprietary technology. So that I think is going to be a constraint in comparison to the Chinese market versus the U.S. And then something else I always think about whenever I hear that folks in the U.S. are interested in battery swapping, and I think that is the legal liability potential risk that I know we all think about, right? Because battery electric, granted, it's a great solution, zero tailpipe emissions. We're able to, on a real time and real basis, on day by day, we're able to charge them a bit cleaner as the grid continues to get cleaner. However, whenever a bad thing happens with them, I mean, these assets burn, right? Like lithium, it'll burn without oxygen. It's hard to extinguish, so it's very scary for a lot of like fire marshals, for example, because there's still not a whole lot of international standards or cooperation, I think, amongst international agencies on like what needs to be done, what are the minimal requirements to protect human health and the environment in an instance where something goes bad with lithium. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you all for listening to me for the last 10 minutes. Thank you to UC Davis for having me. And once again, my apologies for not being able to do this in person. My wife had some prior travel plans and I just couldn't make it out there. But if and when anyone ever would like to chat about anything decarbonization related or anything specific to battery swaps, etc., feel free to email me there. I'm happy to have a conversation at any point. And I wish you all the best and take care and have a great day.